Good evening and welcome. It is the Frontrunner Football Podcast, a Monday evening edition, meaning we're speaking all things local South African football. And joining me in the studio, I have my panel, which is made up of Veli Limnyandu. I've got John T. Mark and Mazola Molefe. Good evening, gents. Welcome to the show.
Evening.
Yeah, good evening.
And welcome to you too watching us, whether it be on Periscope, on YouTube, or just tuning into this later. We do appreciate you joining in for the Frontrunner Football Podcast. On the menu today, we discuss the last Soweto Derby of the year and for now, and the Absa Premiership results that were also part of the weekend. We'll look at the AFCON Qualifiers that are coming up, and of course, just discuss the under-23s at their AFCON campaign. But let's start on the big game of the weekend, Derby Reloaded, Soweto Derby 2.0, whatever you want to call it. Different derbies, same result. Kaizer Chiefs have won. The one was on penalties, and the one they managed to do in regulation time to have a double scalp over their big rivals in Orlando Pirates. So yeah, I mean, let's get into that one. We'll reflect on things that happened post-match, but coming into this one, a lot was said about how it's an opportunity for Coach Rulani to maybe just stake a claim for the job that he has at the moment, to show that he's the man to take Orlando Pirates forward. And to be honest, bear with me, Mazola, we had to remove the goals, right? And look at the efforts over the 90 minutes. Pirates weren't bad. The post came into it a couple of times. Bad decision making came into it a couple of times. And at which point do we attribute those things to the personnel on the field and to the coach on the bench? Good evening.
Yeah, look, my issue with the Orlando Pirates' previous two performances in the Soweto Derby is that they play for the occasion. Yeah, I say that because these two performances, back-to-back Soweto Derby performances, where were they when they were playing Maritzburg United? Where were they when they were playing Highlands? You know, okay, they won that Highlands Park game with the offside goal where he was 100 kilometers offside.
Offside, yeah. No, for sure.
Where were the performances when they lost to Stellies in Cape Town?
The league match, yeah.
Even in that cup game when they won 1-0 with Lodge scoring with, I think, maybe 5 minutes left on the clock. You know, we can go on and on and on and on. Basically, in the 13 or 12 or 13 games that Rulani's been in charge, you know, really, you know, obviously I'd have to, you know, analyze the other games as well. But in most of those matches, really where you can say they really performed and you can see that this Pirates team has potential and could actually, if they were not, you know, so hopeless in the other games, they could be genuine title contenders at this stage.
Based on the Derby performance.
Based on those two Derby performances, regardless of them being defeats.
Yeah.
You know, but you can see that they've got the playing personnel, they've got the hunger, the passion. They can do it, but they are playing for the occasion, because I have not seen them perform like that in any of the other games that Rulani's been in charge.
Really? I mean, does he have a point there, Mazola, in saying that, listen, based on those two performances, Pirates would be in a completely different space? And I guess some would argue that when it's not going for you, you know, you need a bit of luck, which is what they got with that offside goal. But, you know, to hit the post twice in one game, there are positive signs, surely.
I'm sorry, I come across as distracted. Because we're discussing a job that is vacant. Latest news, breaking news coming from
Orlando Pirates.
Hey,
what are you saying?
No, chill.
Did we miss something? The app hasn't updated us.
No, chill. It's not here in South Africa.
Okay.
But someone who's been linked here in South Africa for a very long time is on the market. Patros Cateron has just parted ways with Reja Casablanca.
Yo.
Yeah. So that is just occupying.
I heard at Parktown they're looking for CVs, but that's another conversation for later.
I had the possible.
Well, it is the
interviews,
international
so
break.
I don't know.
I
I heard about CVs, but somebody was talking about interviews, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that Patros Cateron
is a free agent.
As of an hour ago. Yeah. So that's the situation.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Wow. Okay.
Look, it's interesting because at the game, somebody was asking me the very same question, to say, where was this performance on Wednesday? Because I watched the last 2 matches of Pirates. Even Rulani admitted midweek to say there was nothing to write home about, from that game. As much as they had chances, but they didn't create enough chances like they did against Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
I thought that the overloading that they were doing on the right-hand side of the Chiefs' defense, they were seriously giving them problems. Maybe you can also blame someone in the Chiefs midfield for not dropping back to assist there in the right back position, because, and also Tawa as well. He always struggles against skillful attackers, and this
he struggles in the derby period.
Yeah, and I'm worried because if
Ghana.
someone like Ajemang Badu comes up against us this weekend, we'll see flames there.
Even the Ayo brothers, they've been in form.
Because they will turn him, So, Gabadunyo Mango, and one of the things that I didn't understand with Chiefs, when you know that when Mango is coming, he's going to beat this one, why don't you have
Cover.
Sure.
Sure. If he beats this one already,
There's someone else.
You know what
Yes,
Gaba's gonna do
Yes,
when he's
you
on
know,
the when
yes,
when
and
he cuts
you
inside.
know which foot to go to. Because the same thing that happened when he came on, and I mean, Pirates, yes, they came good football. But one of the things, and I took this up with the coach, Coach Rulani, to say, one of the things I don't understand is that you've lost the height with Jele, and as much as yes, and you know that the challenge you had even in the previous game, even with Jele there, was dealing with Nukovic and Castro.
Yeah.
But you take a left back
And then when
put-
the set pieces, then they bring Tower, then they bring Cardoso.
they've got gladiators there.
So, and you could see there in that game, I said this even before Castro scored the second goal, to say Paris is struggling with the aerial balls, and they've got the players they could have brought who would have at least
Giving them some height.
exactly,
But they can't play it from the back.
Yeah, but
That's all you need.
I know it sounds like a joke, but I think that's exactly why they were left out of the team.
Yeah, but there's something that Rulani said when they lost to, in fact, when they beat Highlands Park.
Yeah.
He said, as much as you have to follow your game model, but you're a big team, you have to get results.
Right.
And sometimes to get results,
You have to play ugly. Yeah.
exactly.
And he needed
Which
to
is what
get,
Chiefs have been
he
doing.
needed to get results in this derby also.
Yeah. Chiefs is winning. And that's why now most football fans are ignoring what brand of football they are playing.
Sure, exactly. Exactly.
Because you understand the Chiefs has not won some silverware in 4.5 years. This was their first league derby win
Over Pirates, yeah.
in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for now, maybe until they win something,
Yeah.
maybe people can start to talk about the brand of football.
Right.
But because now they are winning, and the confidence is also returning to the team, and you see when Chiefs is doing well, you can see the PSL also does well, because with the exception of the cheaper game and some of their home games, which game Chiefs has been playing away that has already been sold out.
Sure.
They're calling themselves
Away.
Team Fill Up now.
Team fill up.
Yeah,
They've always had that power, but it goes hand in hand, like you say, with winning.
with
If
winning.
you're not winning, they don't come out.
Yes,
But when
and you see, here we are not talking about a Pirates team that has been struggling. We're talking about a Pirates team that for the past 2 years finished second, was in the group stages, and also made the quarterfinals. You made quarterfinals, or in the group stages?
No, they didn't make the quarters.
They were in was in the group stages.
They couldn't come out.
They were in the group stages of the Champions League. So, when I think you are still coming to that, because a lot was said this past week.
A lot was said, but let's get to the game. Worst start possible, John T, for
Yeah,
Pirates.
it doesn't help when within a minute your captain
Captain.
for the day has headed past his own goalkeeper total miscommunication between Sandilands and Nyauza. And I guess Sandilands does tend to rush off his line.
But surely there must be a shout in
and
there
Nyauza,
somewhere.
but if you're a defender, you should probably know that. Sandilands has been at the club forever and ever, so you should know that he tends to rush off his line. And
as you should know that Kapatinho Mango goes on.
but also I think that there's obviously the noise. You can maybe make a sort of excuse that it's very noisy. You can't hear the calls as usual, but then you've got to have.
I'm sure Sunderland's did.
I'm sure Sunderland said keeper, and
and then he was like, nope,
headed it straight over him.
Where was he going? Sunderland's.
Yeah, that's what John. That's exactly the point that John T is making. You know, he does tend to rush off his line, but he didn't need to.
Yeah,
he didn't have to.
He didn't need to. I mean,
there were
two the two centre backs had Castro covered. Yes, he was, behind them and putting pressure, but I think they had it covered. And even I think Ntsiki's idea actually was a good idea to head the ball back to the keeper.
Right,
but the keeper was 12 yards of his line. For what good reason?
And also, we're praising Pirates a lot for showing heart and coming back into games. And they did it in the Telkom, they did it here, but then they're going behind in the first place. And they're just not their defensive organisation this season. I'm sorry, but it's all over the place. Every time you watch them play, you think this team are so vulnerable on the counter-attack. It's insane. They've got no, and it speaks to the tactics of the coaches at the end of the day. And they've got to. And it does speak to a very big difference between when Sredojevic was at the club and now. And then obviously Velile was talking about the set pieces, and Castro is good in the air, and you don't have tall enough players at the back. And then you got a horrible mountain to climb, and they climbed it to some extent. But then he, again with Paseka Marco, you've got to question the selection and obviously the decision of him to
do that in that area.
It doesn't matter if Parker's dived or not. You do that in a penalty area. You're asking for.
But it wasn't a dive,
to give away
surely.
a penalty. Well, look, you can say I think there was contact, and Parker made the most of it. But every single striker in the football is going to do that. Yes, and there was contact. It's a pen. There's no real discussion about that. Even though Rilani talked about him building a swimming pool.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit unfair, that comment.
In the heat of the moment, though, coaches do say silly things. Sometimes.
Well, but he carried that. The issue here is that he also carried that into the press conference as well. Even after he had...
But he said he saw it. He had looked at it. Someone showed him. And he still believes that it's not a penalty.
No, but you know what? The turnaround of the post-match TV interviews.
Yeah.
It's too fast.
Yeah. If he was talking about having seen this in between after the post-match conference, then we're talking something different. But okay, by the time he came to the post-match conference, I hadn't seen but I hadn't seen what he had said on TV. But boy, Rulani, what I think Rulani managed to do on the day, Pirates, these were back-to-back losses against Chiefs. Secondly, they dropped down to number 9.
Right.
And they went 15 points behind Kaizer Chiefs.
Ouch. It's painful.
Now, what he managed to do successfully
distract.
Yeah,
and no one to talk about this.
Sure, of course. Of course.
And this is a Pirates team this time last year that achieved back-to-back wins in the derby. Same competitions. But this time things turned like this.
Right. Right.
And is going to another break on the back foot.
It makes sense.
And midweek he had said it's still too early to talk about who's going to win the league or what. Now it's fine. 15 we can be talking about other teams,
right.
But as far as Pirates is concerned, 15 points behind, equal number of games played with the team that is leading at the top. What he managed to do successful on the day was for people, and I can tell you, I was in the post-match conference. There was not a single question
about being
about all these things that I'm mentioning.
Right. Right.
And each and every time a question was asked in relation to performance, he would just start and then go back to this.
Yeah.
But it's some, you know, today I was working again on the audio from that game. The way there was a time when I don't know what Rulani had said. He said something about the chance, and I think this is the ball that Losh didn't pass. You know, decided to go on his own, and Miranda responded to say, Rolando was calling that a decision making. Miranda was saying no, it's a mistake. And it's a technical decision that needs coaching. You know, even though he didn't say it in so many words,
Right.
You know,
Right.
If you read between the lines.
yes,
Yeah.
Rulani responded to say, Loch is my player. I'll coach him. Stick to your players. I can play it for you.
For sure.
But you see, that's why. Side note: this is why
Yeah.
I have issues with joint pressers.
Exactly.
It goes tit for tat. Like,
Because also some people may say, you know, it's entertaining, whatever. But especially if you're looking for content, you don't get any.
exactly.
You don't got any.
You know,
Because no one's going to be honest.
no one's gonna be honest. It's either they are too respectful of each other or they despise each other so much that
Then it becomes about
it
that.
becomes about
Becomes
that,
like
which is exactly what happened on
spat,
Saturday. It
right?
became a spat the whole time. I don't know how long that presser lasted, but it sounded like it was just, you know.
The presser went for 38 minutes.
And it
38
was,
minutes.
and most of it's that one saying, the other one rolling his eyes, the other one saying thuggish behavior, and all.
And then,
sorts
like,
of
you as the
things.
media end up like picking up off of the reaction.
Exactly.
And that becomes
You're
the
not you,
narrative,
that means Rulani was successful in deflecting because no one is saying
Hey, man.
you know you've now gone
But
3
you know-
wins, 13 games. You've lost back-to-back derbies. Why did you play this one here? You know, what does the future hold? What are you gonna do on the FIFA break? Those get missed.
Yes.
You know?
Look,
Yes.
no, there was a question on the FIFA break.
Yeah.
And I felt Mirandop answered that question perfectly. You know, he started even with, because one thing that people don't understand, because also people, they saw when Mirandop was asking about the issue of Matoa and Bafana, so they think that maybe Mulefinseki has got a lot of respect for Mirandop.
Right.
Mulefinseki was Mirandop's assistant.
Yeah.
Mulefinseki recruited Murena and he brought him to Celtic.
Right.
And when Murena got to Celtic, it was Mirandop
Who gave him the
who
chance.
changed
yeah.
him from a right wing to a right back.
Yeah.
You know? So what he did, Mirandop, when I was asked about the break, he first started by saying the break doesn't belong to the clubs. The attention during the break must be on the national team. You know? And he went on to talk about, as someone who was coached before he came to Chiefs in 2005, he was coaching in Ghana. So he was talking about the importance of this Ghanaian game and how, you know. And then he went on. No. Okay, I think he spent about 2 minutes talking about his plans on the break and that Chiefs has not had a break.
Yeah, he talked a little bit about some of his players recuperating.
Yes, that is going to give them a break.
Right.
No. Rolani didn't go there. Rolani said...
Talked about swimming pools and
No, he said during this break, he'll not be teaching his players on taekwondo, on judo, or anything.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I mean?
You see, where's
Now,
where's the content?
All the
there
details
now?
that are needed are not there.
I'm not there.
You know? But most importantly, Chiefs last season, they got 9 wins out of 30 matches.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
9 wins out of 30 matches.
Right.
Now they are 9 wins in 11 matches. 15 points clear of Pirates.
Right.
10 points
Sundowns.
10 clear of Sundowns. You know? But I can tell you, those questions, Mr. Could answer them this past weekend. Because it was just on this thing. And Ash and Ryan also mentioned this tourism thing. And I was like, "Ish."
Yeah, and he's sitting right next to him.
He's
there.
sitting next to him.
You see
But
what I'm
here
talking
I
But you see, the
blame-
thing is, I guess at the end of the day...
but here, I also blame the host team,
Right.
Chiefs.
Right.
Like Mazola is saying.
They refuse to separate
Pirates,
the coaches.
Pirates doesn't do...
No club in the PSL does that.
That's
Yeah.
joint.
Yeah.
No.
Chiefs do it though.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying no
They've
other
done it
club.
before.
No
Yeah,
other club.
No
does
other
that.
club in
right.
the
You know,
PSL does that.
I don't
Yeah.
know whether it's
They want to
It's
do it.
because of
It
time.
almost feels like
Like
they
a
want.
spectacle, like
they
the-
want to do it when they feel like it's time.
Right.
Even though everybody else is way ahead
you
of
must
them.
understand that Chiefs they like doing things their own way.
Right.
Ne? But football-wise, this is not assisting.
No.
You know, even for them now. You know, this was a moment, even for Middendorp, to enjoy the victory.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Get into
And
how he won.
Yes. And make no mistake, these are two coaches, when it comes to talking football, they will talk football. You know? Because there was I felt that there were some good points, even from Pirates side, there were some
Right.
good points
Right.
to bring across.
Right.
You know? How they turned the game from 2-0 down, and at some stage, I mean, if it was not for that penalty, Pirates hit the post 3 times.
Sure, exactly.
Anything would have changed there.
Exactly.
You know? But we didn't have a chance to talk football. Because if
Became a
Roland was there on
sideshow,
his
yeah.
own, there was no way he was going to go on this
Dodge.
tirade.
Yeah, he was going to
wouldn't-
dodge
he wouldn't
the
have,
question.
he wouldn't
Yes,
Yeah, and he
yes.
was angry with Middendorp because Middendorp gave it the full throttle double fist pump at the end of the game, right at Rolani, which is, maybe a bit out of order, but it's what's going to happen at a derby. It's just part
Out
of a
of
derby.
order, guys. I mean,
But I think there was a little bit of tetchiness there because of that. And other
what? I
things
mean,
that
he's
happened in
just
the build-up.
gotten a good
No, I
victory.
understand that, but he obviously did it in the direction of Mokoena. Mokoena took exception
Oh
to
my
it.
God. No,
Which also, if you've just lost the derby by a
Petty,
narrow margin, you
petty,
can't-
That was the final
petty,
whistle.
Very petty.
petty,
Was that
petty.
saying it
was
just-
that at the final whistle?
yes.
Ah.
It all just endorses, but it all just endorses what these guys have been saying, Mazzola and Valile.
It's the
about
derby.
Separate the teams, have
Yeah.
separate press conferences so everybody can
Absolutely.
calm
Simple.
down and people can talk rationally about the
Absolutely.
game
About
instead
the
of
game.
Last week,
Yeah,
the week
instead of
before in the
bickering.
TKO, the only reason is because obviously the league is in charge of
Yes,
cup games,
yes.
and the league
Separated them.
separated them. But I think if Chiefs were in charge, they were gonna put them to, because that's what they do. You go to every Chiefs game, they put the coaches there together, and
Even
we've
when
been-
they're losing.
Even when they've lost, we've
Yeah.
been asking them for years to
For
separate
years.
the coaches, but they don't want to do it.
But Chiefs wants to do things their
They're
own
gonna
way.
do it when they feel like it's time to do it. You go around, not even let alone the world, just here in South Africa. I mean, just typically yesterday when Sundowns played Arrows, Steve and Peter didn't share the post press conference. They
Right.
were separated
Right.
because that's how it's done.
Yes.
So,
So you can get into the detail
exactly.
of
Yes.
the fixture.
And the
Yes.
coach can go on 20 minutes,
And he can be
whatever,
free.
talking
Now
about
you
whatever.
can
No,
imagine the coach wants to say a lot of things.
and the
But
guy is
now the
sitting
guy
next
is
to
sitting
you.
right
here.
next to you.
How
no.
ca-
And
how
that's
can
why
you?
when now I remember the cameras are rolling. So when Roland is saying something, Middendorp is rolling his eyes.
it's standard practice everywhere. To
Exactly.
separate.
You know,
To separate.
Yeah. But it's just that the sad part in South Africa sometimes is that there are areas where, when it comes to the footballing decisions, we're falling behind.
Sure. From a marketer's perspective, that joint press
No,
conference is great.
No. Look, Kaizer Chiefs
But,
commercially,
yeah.
but when
Football
footballing matters.
Oh.
Jeez.
No,
Okay.
but, sorry, Gamza,
Yeah.
but I think even if you're a sponsor and you're sitting in that press conference, it's just
Cringeworthy.
It's not worth having the two of them sitting there like that. You know, if you Absa or even the league, you know, because I had someone from Pirates who was inside who was saying to me, I was sitting in there and it was just
Uncomfortable.
It was just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so you can just imagine. I mean, if it's uncomfortable for the press, what about officials?
higher-ups, yeah.
You know,
The people who run the
sponsors
game, yeah,
and whatever.
exactly.
They're sitting there thinking.
Kamza, I
"Oh,
was working on that presser just an hour ago again. Sure. I was hearing some words I didn't hear when I was inside there. Like, yeah? Did you really say this?
Right.
And then does this one respond like this?
Yo.
So in terms of the two camps, who do you think would be the happier, Pirates or Chiefs, in terms of how it was handled? Probably Chiefs, huh? In terms of, or do you think someone at Pirates is saying, well done for...
Look, the...
No ways.
Because also, Middendorp is no saint here.
Yeah.
You know? But I think here, Middendorp handled this very well.
Yeah.
He was.
You can always when you're the one who just won as well.
No. I just feel that Middendorp. I just feel that Middendorp, there's just something.
Maturity.
I think you'll correct me if I'm wrong. I think Middendorp. When was the last time he was here? doesn't have a suspended fine or something.
Remember, he
or
was
it expired.
You know, there hasn't been an outcome. Remember when he came back, when he left, he was charged
Right.
for stuff that he had said about when he was at Maritzburg, stuff he had said about Matumatlala
Sure.
and interference
Sure.
and whatever. Then he left.
Sure.
When he came back in December, immediately the PSL charged him again to
Right.
say this is in relation to
To
your.
that thing, yeah.
When was it? 2015, 2015,
Remember, it was
2016.
it was like
yeah.
KZN Derby against Arrows, yeah?
So,
Yeah.
but there hasn't been. I don't think there's been an outcome on that, unless the club has been sent sanctions, whatever, and it's a suspended. Because they usually do that.
Okay.
They'll send it to the club, like with the Sereno charge now and Pito and whatever. The club is fully aware of it. They've sent it to the club, and obviously it's leaked to the media now.
Right.
But they haven't made any formal announcement. So I suspect Middendorp either got a suspended fine or whatever. But he was charged in December when he came back.
Okay, so
When
he's
he came
treading
back.
carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's treading carefully.
Yeah, he was charged when he came back in December. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because no. The Mirandov I know.
Yeah. Wouldn't be this quiet.
Yeah, no. You know. But also, I think when he came back at Chiefs, and even when he came back, he did try to go back to his old ways, especially with the media.
Yeah.
But I think at Chiefs,
They said, "Hey, Baba."
said, Baba.
I was about to say, I mean, do you think there's an
Yeah.
element of media training that's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
Of course.
No. You know, because even though you can still sometimes Mirandov, he's
Yeah.
got that condescending.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
remember
think about him, yeah.
at the Kilani Country Club, our interview with Ernst, he was a bit.
Yeah.
He was a bit offish, but eventually, after a minute or so,
He warmed up.
he warmed up, started
Yes.
answering
It
questions.
also depends how you.
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
I mean, I asked him a question about Dumisani Zuma, and he got irritated. But after a while, then he gave me good content. But
Yeah.
his first reply was, "Why are you asking me this?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Why am I? The guy just scored 2 goals last night.
Right.
What do you mean? Why am I asking you
Yeah,
this?"
who else can I ask
But
about
then,
these topics?
subsequent to that, he actually gave me a very good answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
so typical German.
Yeah, I know.
think.
I just feel that now, if it was at a different club, hey, I don't know. But at Chiefs, when it comes to what you say in the media,
Yeah.
no, there they are.
Because of the brand.
Yeah.
Because of the brand.
But
Yeah.
definitely, I mean, in terms of what Ronaldo said post-match about thuggery and all that, it's like, put your player against Highlands Park.
Look,
my
yeah,
Barca
that's
Yeah,
the other thing.
almost
basically
broke.
should have got a straight red card.
Sure.
And the Telkom knockout quarter-final, your player stamped on Billiat.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
Because
escaped
that's the
to
other
red.
thing, John,
And now
isn't
you're
it? That
accusing Chiefs of
he
thuggish
doesn't.
behaviour.
He obviously says these things. He hasn't had a time to. He hasn't watched the replays because a few days after that Highlands Park incident with the offside and the tackle,
Yeah.
he had a pre-match press conference
Right.
and he said, "Look,
Fair play, yeah.
I've looked at it again.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
definitely offside."
Yeah.
And then he said, "Mabasa, I asked them to be aggressive and fight, and he misunderstood what I meant,
Right.
and he went 2-footed
Right.
challenge. He should have not been on the
Right.
pitch." So he's again done it when he's not. I mean, it's emotions. He's not watched the clip, but I also think it's Velile spot on. He's realizing the
deflecting,
situation, and he's like, because I was saying to someone earlier, I think it was premeditated also, because if you watch, I don't know how he was like in the auditorium with the written press
Yeah.
and radio, but on TV, Pumlani Msibi is asking him firstly about the game, and he's calm, and then he just loses it, talks about Tagi's behavior. Then Pilani tries to bring him back to say, okay, a few good positives, let's look at, and then he's calm again, and then all of a sudden he just loses it again, talking about, so I think it was also
this is what I
premeditated,
noticed
yeah.
because even when I was working on the story after the game, and then again today, I was like, no man, Ronaldo did this thing deliberately.
Yeah, he did.
Because his opening comments, first thing, he took on Mr. Vina Mapos.
For not calling him coach.
Yeah, on the introduction. And then I could tell right from there that,
Yeah.
said, yeah, Mr. Maposa, I'm also a coach.
I'm qualified.
I'm qualified.
Yeah.
But you just called me by my first name. And you said, Coach Middendorp. Okay. Then he went on, as, the coaches, when they dissect the game, and, he stopped at 2-2. He said a 2-2, and then he didn't go further. About
He didn't see to him
it's just
the winning goal didn't exist.
In fact, he had already started, and then no. So exactly what Mazola is talking about, and even the questions that would follow. Sometimes those questions not even directed at this thuggery comments and all those things, but hey man,
He brings
like
it
I
back.
was telling you about the break, you know, because look, if there's anyone who wanted to answer that question in the right way, it was him, because they're not doing well.
Yeah.
You know, so in terms of what they are going to do in this break,
It's very important.
it's very important.
Very important.
You know, so when we as reporters we go there, we ask questions, and but look, man,
Problem
the
is
pressure.
he's had 2 international breaks now to work on his team, to work on sorting them out, and he hasn't managed to yet.
Yeah.
So how many more international breaks is he
I
going
mean, we've made this point here before, but if there was a coach without the connections Rulani Mokoena has to Pirates in charge right now at
as
Pirates.
an interim coach?
Sacked in the
he would
morning.
have
As an
been
interim
gone.
coach, you've taken
Yeah.
over from Sredojevic
Yeah.
with a team that had such a
a dominant last
very,
season.
very strong squad, had
Yeah.
a dominant, finished second the last 2 seasons. Would they really still be in a job? I think it's questionable.
Look, this guy, Patrice Cateron in Raja Casablanca, not a bad record, but I think they are 7th on the log,
Yeah.
and they lost this past weekend. But I mean, this was their first loss since. I think this was their first loss in the league. You know, but it's their first loss since end of August. You know,
Yeah.
but they just fire him like that, and they claim it's because of results.
There
Now,
we go.
those are big clubs
Yes.
on the continent,
And
and this is a club that is in the Champions League group stages.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, guys. Well, yeah, no, we're gonna draw a line under the Chiefs and Pirates derby, and keep it moving to.
What do you mean? This is thuggish behavior.
There we go. Well, thuggish behavior is how Arrows roughed up Sundowns. Because I mean, this is very good result for Steve Gombela.
Oh, but that pitch, Buffett.
Yeah, but that's where I was going to start. Is that the conditions? It must be said, both teams play on the same pitch. Both teams played on the same pitch.
True. So I mean, the one coach can't argue that the other team had an advantage or whatever, or
Yeah.
the losing coach can't argue.
I don't even think Pito did. He said,
Yeah.
terrible conditions for
Yeah.
both teams.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
clarify.
Yeah. And it wasn't. Look, I don't even think it was raining that hard. The drainage system is just poor. You know.
He did remark about that
And
as
didn't
well.
Chipa and Amazulu play at the same stadium also, the night before? No.
Was it then?
Was it not Sugar Ray also? Was it a different?
Eh?
Where did Chipa and Amazulu play? Was it not Sugar Ray?
No. That was Princess Mako.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. They
Princess
didn't play at the
Makoko,
same
yeah.
stadium.
So,
Okay. But yeah, the drainage system was shocking.
yeah, I know. But I mean, let's look at the game itself, though.
Blunder from Nyango, yeah.
Golden Arrows. I mean, did you expect that? I mean, everyone's kind of thinking that, Sundowns are coasting. They'll get the results that they need to keep pressure on Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I felt the weather conditions contributed. At some stage I was watching that game. I was like, yo, Bafana players in this game. You know, some of them are going to camp today.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you've got to think about that. You know, the number of internationals in that Sundowns team, and these are not just any qualifiers that they're going to. Look, yes, they're employed by the clubs.
Sure.
You know, they've got to think about that first.
Sure.
But do you think someone like Morena and Lebusa, who have not been regulars in the Bafana team in terms of playing, and they got their taste against Mali, and now they're going to risk? What do you think? So I don't know. I was just looking at them.
Maybe it's in the back of your mind somewhere.
No. It's there. It's there.
But I mean,
But
Yeah.
I felt there Onyango, the conditions.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And
The, co-
the
the coach said he makes that mistake once a year.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't undo all the good work that
world
he's done
class,
as a coach.
even
but-
world class goalkeepers make mistakes.
Exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
And also, when
So you think the players held back?
when you play Arrows, you've got to deal with the pace of Nox Mutizo.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you've got to deal with Knox, and he could have easily had a hat trick.
Yeah, he was good.
In that game yesterday, you know.
was good.
So, and it's, for me, it's very interesting because the two teams after the break are also playing against each other in the Telkom knockout semis.
Same stadium.
Exactly.
Hope it doesn't rain again. Because it's going to be a shocker.
Yeah, but and in fact, I was having this discussion today when Bafana was at training, because we were there, and you look at the training pitch where Veds is training, because it's Stark Park. I think one of the best pitches.
Yeah, it's good.
We have.
Yeah.
In the country, even in terms of training sessions, the pitches at Stark Park. There was a time when Durban had these facilities, you know, especially at Princess Magogo, the pitch was top condition. But now what we see at Sugar Ray, at some stage, man, Sugar Ray was not even for PSL matches.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Pito did say, funny enough, he's like, I don't even remember playing here. But he said someone said, well, coach, we've played here once before. He was like, I don't remember coming here.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'll never forget tomorrow. I mean,
you'll never forget now.
There was that thing that previously teams, when they play other so-called small teams, they will take them to some venues. But when it's Chiefs, Pirates, or Sundowns, they'll go to Moses Mabhida.
Yeah.
Right.
Now Durban teams don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because now you're
If
playing
a team
into the
plays
hands
at Kings Luton Stadium or
Yeah,
Princess
yeah.
Magogo
Yeah.
or Sugar Ray, they stick to that.
Sure.
You have to come there.
As your advantage.
And make it,
Yes.
make it a
But
fortress.
Arrows,
which,
I can tell you, Arrows will never play Chiefs in that venue.
Right.
Especially the Chiefs that is selling out this.
Moses Mabhida.
Team,
Yeah.
team
You
fill
know,
up.
not now. But you were asking me about the result. Yeah, no. Especially at halftime, Sundowns was leading. I didn't see it that way.
Look,
I think they one game away from losing as many as they did last season. At this stage.
But I can tell you one thing that I noticed very well. Sundowns players, they were not going full on the tackles.
Right.
Yeah.
Holding back.
Yes.
Because I'm an international.
International, and also the weather conditions. It rules you out, Baba.
Yeah, and also in that Sundowns team, if you get injured, to come back and
It's a long way.
to
long
come
way
back
back.
and try get your place, unless maybe you're a Hlompo Keka now, maybe a Musali Busa,
Zwane.
except one
yeah,
player.
Xirino.
Except one player. And if there could be an opening at Bafana anytime soon.
Charlie.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
I mean, yeah, you saw how much it meant to him to get on
He's
the
back.
score sheet, and you
Yes.
wanted to try and get something out
I
of
watch,
that game.
I watch, even besides the primary job, defending and all those things, I watch the late runs he makes into the box. You know? In previous games, it's been unfortunate. If you look at the chance he got against Chiefs,
Right.
you know? But this past weekend, it came right.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And if they still had more time in that game yesterday, you don't know what could have happened.
Sure.
You know?
We played to 90 minutes.
They ran out of time.
But they didn't. They have they won any of their last 3 games? Sundowns. They lost.
No.
They drew with Barocca. They lost to Chiefs.
In the
right?
league.
Yes.
Yeah,
in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's been tough.
So they've been on a bad run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Just
just
a-
the
And you know
Arrows
what?
game.
It's
I
just a
had
TKO.
said, yes.
The TKO win on penalties against Chippa. That's
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And I had said, I remember I was saying this here. I had said, for Sundowns, because they are involved in the group stages of the Champions League, the time for them to regroup and make sure that they balance the situation between the domestic competitions and the Champions League, and also close the gap on Chiefs, was between September and November.
Right. Because after that, it gets crazy.
I mean, if you look at
No.
Chiefs now, the fact that Sundowns have to play the Champions League, Vets, who are
Confed.
usually up there in the title race, have to play the Confed group stage. I mean, and Chiefs have already established this lead.
Right. Without extra football
I
to
mean,
play.
surely
Besides-
there's never been a better chance for them to win.
No,
win
for
the
sure.
league now.
No, for
With
sure. I think
Pirates
they were
15
well-primed.
points behind them as well.
No, for sure.
And also, I think the Veds result.
I know it helped
The
Chiefs.
loss I think it also ensures that Chiefs has won Q1 as well.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, after that result, Chiefs
Yes.
went on to win Q1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and you know what? There's going to be a time when Vets or Sundowns, when they're flown out of the country to go play their group stages games, they'll come back.
There'll be
It's already
20
double figures.
Yeah.
There'll be
But
20
yeah.
points behind.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know?
And those games, once you know the numbers, once you know how many games in hand, it
Yes.
starts weighing on the mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now it's
Yes.
a lot to claw back.
Yes. And now they are in the semi-final, in the home semi-final,
Yeah.
taking it to Bombela Stadium.
Yeah.
Will probably be sold out by the end of this weekend,
Will be
Right.
sold
of
out,
this
yeah,
week.
no
Yeah.
question.
So they know that semi-final, final.
Right.
They win that,
Yeah.
the pressure is off.
Off. Right.
So even with winning the league, there is no pressure.
Right.
They are just going.
Because what, they were ahead of schedule, you would argue?
No. Because they
The
go
mon-
full steam, they win the Telecom knockout.
Something's
The
in
monkey's
bag.
off the bag.
The
Yeah.
monkey's off the back.
Something's in the
There's
bag.
no pressure of winning
That
anything.
4-year
No, you're
drought
right.
is
You know?
gone.
You know?
Nah, there's
so
still
now,
pressure on Chiefs.
Well,
to
they'll
win.
pre- they are
Yeah,
definitely, but
yeah,
I'm-
it will be there, but they
the
will-
4-year drought,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pressure of the 4-year drought. I hear what
Yeah.
he's saying, but there's definitely pressure to win the league.
To win the league still.
yeah, but
Okay.
but with the brand of football they are playing,
Yeah.
hey,
It's possible.
no. I just feel that because some teams will come up with something.
Right. Of course.
Because I was at the Pirates was coming for them,
No, for sure. For sure.
and with a bit of discipline, Pirates could have taken that game.
I guess. But look, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. If the team at the top, also being Kaiser Chiefs, every team that's going to play you is going to bring their A++ game. Either playing into your hands or unlock you.
Yeah,
No
and
one's
also,
managed to
and
do
also
that
the
so
team,
far.
a team that
Because you
takes
could say the
chances.
same with the cheaper game as well. I mean,
Cheaper play.
Ernst said it himself that he was not happy with the first half.
No, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
had cheaper been a bit more clinical.
Exactly. Against the clinical team.
Yeah.
Is that what
Yes,
you're basically?
yes.
So against the clinical team,
Yes.
Chiefs are going to see flames.
Yes, you know,
Okay. No,
I
I
mean-
agree.
and I mean the way Pirates was just having it easy there at the back. Hit the post 3 times.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
3 times.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay, guys. Well, let's keep it moving because there is that game that we just touched on now. The one that sees Super Sports United on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, Mill Park is cursed. I don't know what they have to do there, but essentially, Vits at home are worse than they are on the road.
Yeah, they've been much better on the road.
Yeah. But
I
it was a
watched
kick in
that
the teeth,
game. They
that-
played much better than Supersport.
They did.
They were way better. Some of
Oh.
their interplay was fantastic. They
Right.
were a bit unlucky, and they had more chances. They lost a couple of players like Doty and Manore to injury during the game, so they were a bit unlucky in that sense. And he put Motupa up front on the back of his 4 goals in against UD Songo in the Confo Cup. But this time Motupa was not firing. He couldn't get his radar on.
Yeah.
And Supersport, really, it was a bit of a... They did have chances, though, and they worked so hard, Supersport.
They were very
did.
tactically
And they
disciplined,
fought, and
weren't
it was their 4th game in 8 days, and
Yeah.
they really went... They're very disciplined, they kept the organisation, they have a very solid team, Supersport. I mean, Ronwin made that save he made from Doty. You saw Gavin Hunt on
Yeah.
the touchline. Gavin Hunt couldn't believe it,
Right.
made that save.
Yes.
And then... towards the end of the first half, Supersport with Grobler and Gabuz had a couple of chances where they went through, but couldn't make the most of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were always like a bit of a threat. And Mbule, I thought, was outstanding throughout the match. There was one moment when he won the ball, fell over, but in the same motion managed to get up and beat about 2 players. I don't know how he did that. And obviously popped up at the end with that crucial goal. And I guess now Supersport will feel totally vindicated that they didn't let him go to Egypt for the for the game against Zambia.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
And he
He
did,
come up with the winner.
and they're in 3rd, and I think they have the makings of a team that could potentially be a challenger, in the title race. And sometimes you've got to win games like that, a bit scrappy, to if you're gonna challenge, you've got to win games like
No,
that. And
for
for
sure.
Wits, it's this perennial thing of like they can't take their chances, they don't win matches.
No,
Because they have
Team
Carl
to beat.
Luck. I mean,
Is he still there?
I wasn't there, so
I mean, he took the space. He took the space of possibly a clinical striker.
oh gosh, let's
Somewhere.
not go back there to- let's not go. Someone said there's a tweet for you, brother.
Okay.
Okay, no, this
Like
Just for Super Journal.
just for Super Journal. If you listen to TKO Derby post-match interview, he started on a high pitch, though not complaining, and came down as the interview progressed. But because you are jealous, Mazola, and always looking for a negative, you'd ignore facts and push your propaganda.
Against Rulani. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but we got
Take that.
accused last week, which we didn't at all. I don't know who wrote in last week,
Yeah.
accusing us of promoting Benny McCarthy for the Pirates job over Rulani. That didn't happen. We did question whether Rulani could carry on, but
Right.
we certainly didn't punt Benny McCarthy for the job.
Yeah,
He's
look,
just
us,
been
us
fired
speaking
by
about it doesn't
Cape
even
Town City.
get on the blip
Yeah,
on the
you know-
radar of the people who make these
You know,
decisions.
for weeks now,
I
the
don't know.
MDF has been coming for me. You know what the MDF
Ukona
is?
Defense Force.
Yeah, the Mlungisi Defense Force has been
Mlungisi
coming for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
For
yeah.
several months now. So I don't know. You see, when I write positively about the coach, they don't read it.
Right.
Because it's positive.
Right.
When it's negative, obviously it
They're gonna
comes up
read it,
because
yeah.
it's negative. So I don't know what they want.
Yeah, you know, one thing that I've learned, especially on social media, people will like you when
You like their team.
no, when you agree with them.
Yeah,
But when you
that's it. isn't
got
it?
an opinion, a strong one,
Yeah.
against what is popular with them, and you know, we're not populists. You know,
Absolutely.
no. I've got an opinion and I have to stick to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I always tell them unfollow if you want to unfollow.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but knowing the nature of football, a few days down the line or even on the same day, we'll agree on something.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, but somebody will not agree. You know,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
You can't please everyone.
Yeah,
like you
no,
say.
who can't please? Who can't please?
No,
everyone?
no,
No,
can't,
you can't.
can't.
And you know what?
Impossible.
And we work in this space.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the information that they also have,
It comes
they
from
get-
us.
They get from us. You know, and we don't take that for granted. That also through the engagements. I mean, there are a lot of guys a lot of people that we've met
Yeah,
on social media.
absolutely.
You know, we also learn a lot from them as
Right.
well.
Right.
To an extent that some of them will end up even being in the space of getting content or doing content together. But this is still a job to us,
No, for sure.
you know.
No, for sure.
And sometimes I always say this even to the coaches, because sometimes they, you know, one of the things is that South African football coaches are not united. They will say this about each other, and then he turns around, says something totally different, and they will forget that you are the same person he's trying to smile at. But you know what he said that side.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, you're telling us about the dark underbelly of.
No. It's just that something happened. Some South African football coaches are not united. So that's why in an area where we see unity, because we're all South Africans,
Yeah.
we must applaud it.
Sure.
And I think someone like Coach Mlevinzeki is up to something. Time will tell. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. But I just hope that some coaches will come to their senses, because some coaches are not united.
Wow. Really, someone's going to spend an hour with the podcast just decrypting the messages that you are putting in here.
Yeah.
The Valile code.
Yeah, the Velila code. Someone is
Transcribe.
working on cracking it
Yeah.
as we speak.
Yeah.
Someone's also
I just feel that with our football fans,
yeah.
this press conference that we had of Pirates and Chiefs this past weekend is not assisting, because our people don't talk the game.
Right.
You know, I was saying this at Bafana training today, is that we don't talk about what is happening there.
Right.
You know, how did Pirates get to dominate and
Sure.
easily come back to like that? And you know, This is what we wanted to hear.
Well, this is the
So-
thing,
so,
really.
you know,
An example of that
yeah.
is when we had something happen down in Durban. Remember that
Yes.
thing that we did down there?
Yes, yes.
And we had a very smart football mind kind of take us through what was about to happen.
Yes.
And someone involved in the event was like, "Whew, that's too technical."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "You see, this is where we lose it."
Yeah.
Because if you can't get into the nuts and bolts, like it's always going to be a superficial discussion.
Yeah.
If you can't get into why players make the decisions they make or their impact on proceedings,
We're always interested in what Peter has said.
yeah,
You know?
know what he's done,
Not
or
what he's
how
done.
he did it.
Yeah. On the field.
Exactly. We got a long way to go with that.
Yeah.
And that's maybe something for our next forum.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
An educational
Educational.
component.
Yeah.
Because I think our viewers and our fans could do
and
it.
also Kamza, even us as journalists.
Yes, of course.
You know, a game is just finished now. You know, the first question is about what are you going to do in the next game? You have not even dissected the game. I mean, 5 goals have been scored.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
there are no talking points coming from
Yeah,
this game.
yeah.
You know, so it's all those things.
On that note, we got a message from one who was saying, I don't think Chiefs is playing well, but this season they've learned how to win dirty.
That's
so,
fair.
I mean, that's a fair statement.
They
That's
definitely
a
have
fair-
won
that's
games.
a fair-
Yeah, they've definitely learned that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, that's, I guess, Peter has said that before, that sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to play ugly, when
Yeah.
to get the result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, first thing that Ernst said after the match, in the post-match, was it's 3 points.
Yeah, I know.
It's 3 points.
In fact, he said
It's nonsense.
He said in his opening statement, as he was closing it this week, he said, because Rolando was going on about Paris playing well, this group of players, they play from the heart, and said football is about results.
Back to the matter.
What's the whole thing before, wasn't it? About Mona Lisa, Picasso. I mean, Chiefs are in the semi-finals of the Telecom. No?
And yeah, exactly.
Ish, yeah.
And you're...
And a lot had been said about
Ish.
Picasso.
Oh, Pablo.
even Ernst, responding.
Pablo.
I know even the front runners, they had the Picasso drawings and all those things.
We have to stay on trend.
Eh?
This is what we have to stay on trend. This
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
the coaches are talking about.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
of course we'll have some art inspired by that.
Yeah.
Nah, I hear you guys. Let's go through the other results real quick. William Tyler getting the double in the cheaper game.
He was very good, William, in that game.
He was,
He was very good
There
in
was
that
that whole
game.
connection between him and there was a Derby,
Marcia.
former Derby guys.
Yeah.
Him and Rachale, connecting also
Yeah, but
very
also,
well.
Also at this
Marcia.
point,
And
Marcia.
Mazia, yeah.
Yeah, Mazia, Jomo, Twala. Twala was very good. I thought Twala was decent against Chiefs as well.
Right.
He just missed a lot.
Right.
It was not until you could see he's very rusty. I mean, remember I left Chiefs, went to Free State Stars, hardly played, went back to
Yeah.
Chipa.
He's been a bit of a journeyman.
You
in the
know, a
last
bit of a
year or
journeyman.
two.
But you could there. I mean, I think I watched that game against Chipa. I could see why Pirates had signed him. I could see why Chiefs had signed him initially. But it's just glimpses here and there. If he can sustain that, I'm arguing it's a bit too late for Chipa. Their first win in 10 games, but it's unpredictable. I'm arguing it's a bit too late, but I think Norman is onto something. Obviously, he's a coach with great pedigree,
Right.
And you can see what he's trying to do.
And maybe
very
things elsewhere are
unfortunate
helping him. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at Bulawani City now; they've sacked the coach.
results. Yes, yeah.
So maybe there,
City
whoever
aren't
comes
doing well
in,
either.
It's not going to be a case of turning it around immediately.
Yeah.
So there is
Yeah,
maybe
Amazulu as well. I don't,
hope.
exactly.
Exactly.
Look, I'm still gutted that Kevin Johnson lost that job, but I haven't seen a massive improvement since Vukusic took over. You start questioning, whether it was, but the management obviously would argue that, Kevin had
A good
two and a half
chance. Yeah, I know.
years to turn things around, but they hadn't. But anyway, coming back to Chipa, I still argue that it feels like they've left it too late. For their first win in 10 games, mountain to climb. I mean, look, the further down the table you are, the more difficult it is to actually win the games
sure.
and move up the table.
For
But
sure.
yes, teams in and around that position are also, results aren't going their way. But you could see this going right down to the wire. But it was a hard fought victory, and they were value for money. I think
sure.
they should have actually put a few more past Amazulu on the night.
And there we go. And then we have 2 draws. It's Maritzburg and Celtic playing out to a 2-2 draw. I mean, Celtic, we always kind of see like how they've just kind of, found some stability.
Yeah.
Considering all the things that happened last season, I mean, probably the mandate there is just to end top 8. Maritzburg United kind of survive.
But I don't know if they're gonna do it, because the football is easy on the eye, but the results.
They were 2-0 up in that game as
Yeah.
well.
2-0 up, that's the thing.
Yeah, the
Very
results.
late. Very late they considered
The results.
goals,
I mean,
yeah.
I've watched them obviously when they got knocked out of the cups. The results were very good, and you think based on how they played. I mean, they haven't been able to replicate that result when they beat Golden Arrows 5-0 at the Sesa Ramaburu or Dr. Mulemela Stadium. Where they played good football,
Right.
and at the same time they were clinical and took their chances.
Right.
They haven't been able to replicate that since. They go ahead and then they can't shut their back door. So I think the co-coaches there also
Yeah, you think they're flirting with disaster a
skating
bit.
on thin ice, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? This thing of co-coaches.
It works so well at Pirates.
No, but I'm not saying at Pirates. Are they co-coaches?
Last season.
Last season they were co-coaches.
I think Mitchell will have something interesting to say about that.
Micho said he's in charge.
Yeah?
Micho told us he's in charge.
That's what he said, no?
That's what he said.
Hey, that's
on
what he
the
said. So
record.
we'll take him at his word. Stellenbosch Highlands playing out to a 0-0 draw. Leopards getting one over Cape Town City.
According to Cape Town City, they were robbed.
Yes, this is the thing that's coming out now, is that obviously there was no television coverage. So apparently because of that, the home team took advantage of such. I mean, it's quite an accusation.
Are they having First Division vibes?
First Division.
They're getting a taste of what goes on week in, week out in the Glad Africa Championship.
Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah.
the thing. What happens when the cameras aren't around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No, it's a different league.
Yeah,
altogether.
but you know what? Sometimes, not that I don't take serious what they're saying, but sometimes I take whatever the teams are saying with a pinch of salt.
Kermit Erasmus took to Twitter after the game and said, "All we ask for is better officiating. We work every week extremely hard to give our best for each other and play to win. Blatant penalty not given. I'm frustrated." Followed by about 5 exclamation marks.
5.
Yeah. So he was obviously upset.
Yeah, no, sure.
But obviously, they're not being televised. We can't tell whether it was a penalty or not. We have to and do we take their word for
Show
it?
us the
Exactly.
video, Kermit.
Exactly.
Show us the video.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing.
It's
It just
hard,
shows
though.
like
It's
how
not on
many
TV.
obstacles we still have to cross before we get to our VAR and our goal line tech. If we're not
Exactly.
producing every football game and having a visual record of what has happened in the match, then we want to jump to all these fancy little, accompaniments. We have a long ways to go.
I'm conflicted.
Why?
I'm conflicted. I can't comment on the broadcasting of the games.
Yeah, that says it all. That says it all.
Yeah.
That says it all.
Yeah.
Listen, Mwete on Twitter picks up something, and I think we've all noticed it. He says, "I have noticed that Middendorp watches a lot of football. He does the opposition scouting himself at the stadium. Could this be the reason why he's able to get one of his opponents over
No.
this season?"
No.
I don't even want us to get there. You see, one of the things that we have to educate our people on is that it's like when we even talk development. Our people think development, for them to see it, is when they see it on TV. They say there's development. Yet those players have been playing and training. You understand? Sundowns
We've got an army.
of scouts.
Right.
Got
And
an army.
they watch the last they watch the last 3 or 4 matches
Of the
At the venue.
opposition. Okay.
Yeah, at the venue. The same thing that Mirandop is doing.
They've just got other people doing it.
Yes, the difference with Mirandop is that he prefers to do it himself.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
But at other clubs there are scouts. Scouts who work with the team, and others are opposition scouts.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So people must know that what Mirandop is doing, it's not.
It's a preference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's not the only one.
Yeah.
Some pioneer. Yeah.
And Kaiser Chiefs has got scouts.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
But Mirandop prefers to do it
himself.
himself.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and he was doing it when he was also struggling with relegation at Maritzburg United,
Right.
and also when he was at Celtic, he was doing this. I
Right.
remember.
Yes.
He came to watch. I was at Witbank Stadium that day. I think they're going to play Witbank Spurs. He came to watch Witbank Spurs there in Witbank.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's not something that he's doing now.
Yeah, he's always.
No, he's always. You're right. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you always would see him being shown on TV. There's Middendorf.
Yes, yes.
Even at
And-
Bidvest, you
yes.
see him.
And he
in
did
front of the
explain.
crowd.
He did explain. You must see also with the match performance analysts how they shoot the game. They don't shoot the game from the angle of those TV cameras. They shoot the game from the goal behind the goalposts so that they see the full pitch.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
They see the movement of the players, and they would have, and even how they cut the game, because TV doesn't give you the best view.
Sure.
Yeah.
When
Cut
you
for entertainment, yeah.
exactly,
Sure.
you know. So, what you see, that's why I'm saying, fortunately, you Kamza, you're in the production space. We need to teach the people about the game.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
There we go. We've already said the idea for the next forum is on the table. As we very quickly, as we wrap up, just focus on Bafana, Ghana versus our boys in terms of prediction.
Is anybody going to be able to watch it in South Africa?
Well, apparently, I last saw that there are discussions where CAF are engaging directly with the broadcasters, like
Okay.
beIN and SuperSport, to strike deals. But I'm just wondering that if I'm the guy who paid all that money for those rights, and
Exactly.
you're going behind my back trying to get the content on there still, whilst I'm trying to litigate, it's a weird. But let's see. Maybe these ones will fly under the radar, and we actually can see the.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Sorry, but knowing the broadcasters, I think they just too. I mean, that's why immediately the announcements were out that no.
So you don't think they'll touch
content-
it?
I don't see how. I don't see how.
Especially someone legal.
Apparently, beIN Sports have agreed.
Already.
Yeah, to come back.
That's what I don't understand, is that there's no lawyer there saying, listen, guys, this thing is still being
Yeah.
contested. Like, surely.
Yeah, no.
must
I
wait.
think there's a. At the end of the day, Lagadia were also contracted.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're not the owners of the rights.
sure, but they're fighting this whole thing.
Yeah. But
So things can carry on as normal?
Yes. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, the rights owners
Yeah,
is
Must
CAF.
decide
sure.
what they do with
You know,
their. With
sure,
their,
but if I'm like, I've signed and we said it's okay now.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's being
No.
affected, right?
I also feel like. I
well,
don't
there's
know
the ruling as well about breach
Yeah,
of
I don't know.
rules, competition
Sure,
rules.
sure,
so
sure.
they
I don't
must
know
take that
how-
into their account. Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know how the if CAF is going to take this thing forward, because I also feel, you know what, there's a lot of contestation that legally that Legadia can do here. But my worry is one is that when these things, take for instance the issue of how the US justice brought down FIFA,
Right.
because they were challenging every transaction or anything that would have been done through US.
With their currency.
You understand?
The moment you use US currency,
Yes,
they
and
can-
and even now recently in Switzerland as well, even in France. You understand? Now, why is it an issue when Egyptian authorities
do it.
are doing it and challenging a contract that has been signed in Egypt?
Yeah.
Now, why are we saying now? No, but in terms of the jurisdiction, but this is in Egypt.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
CAF is based in Egypt.
Sure.
So whatever CAF does
Yeah.
should be done.
But who's saying that, Velu? Who's complaining that this, it's overreach or...
It's people who are opposed to this. Yeah, what CAF is doing.
Right.
Because CAF, they released a statement to say they are doing this because there's a ruling.
Yeah,
the law.
it was clear.
Yes,
Yeah.
law.
against this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
It
understand?
seems so strange to pull it just a week before the tournament. I know this ruling, and they said the ruling was in 2017. So what's happened in 2
apparently,
years?
apparently there's been discussions.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been discussions throughout this period between the parties involved.
Yeah.
But Now,
I mean, it's one of the first things
Seems
Ahmad
disorganized to me.
was asked about
Yeah.
when he became the CAF president, to say, what are you going to do about this? Because obviously the ruling had already been in place, but
Right.
there were discussions and it looked like they were going to sort it out, but I guess not.
And remember at the time that this contract or this tender it didn't even go out for tender.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
And at the time, there are a lot of questions around this. But I understand that beIN Sports, apparently they've agreed.
Okay.
So they'll be back. And remember, this is also affecting the AFCON Under 23.
Yeah,
Of course.
That's underway now.
Of course.
And but I had the discussions with SuperSport. They are said to be positive.
Okay.
But we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, anyway, let's
Yeah.
hope we see Bafana
Yeah,
against
yeah.
Ghana, because that's a big game for Molefe.
No, of course. And I mean, you hold him in quite very high regard, Molefe Nzeki. Do you think what we saw against Mali, is this Ghana game what? A good first start? Do you think it's going to be one of those where we'll go there, get a draw and come back, or do you think we can get something more out of it?
You know, one of the first things you said was that we have to move away from just targeting to qualify.
Mm.
We must also focus on winning the group. You know?
Right.
Because when you win the group, it also means that you beat the stronger opponent in the
Sure.
group.
Sure.
That improves your position
Sure.
in the rankings.
Right. And all the
You know,
seeding then.
The seeding, especially now, we are going towards the World Cup qualifiers. In the World Cup qualifiers, we've beaten a team that is above us already in Mali
Right.
in a friendly match, and
Yeah.
now if we beat Ghana in an official match, that will improve our position
Sure.
big time.
So it's about
On-
thinking
on
about the
rankings.
future, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because very soon we'll be going for the World Cup qualifiers draw.
Sure.
You know, so it's important that we move up, because the current position we're at in the
Gonna make it
rankings,
very tough.
yeah, it's going to make it very tough for us. You know, so one of the things he said this morning was the issue of experience. If you notice, he's brought back the two fullbacks that he had taken to the AFCON.
Kize.
Hlanti and Mkize. Mkize was injured in the last one, then Hlanti is back. And he says those players will be key, especially for this away trip.
Sure.
Because it's also about experience. And he's talking about the importance of remaining, in fact, making sure that the point they are taking there, they don't lose that
don't
point.
lose it,
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And if you look at Bafana Bafana's results on the road, especially in the qualifiers, there's hope. There's hope. If you look at what we did in Tunisia against Libya, against Nigeria, you know, we're capable
Right.
of. And also, I think so. There's some good vibe in the team currently.
Okay.
There's always that good vibe when there's a new coach.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But the issue with Bafana is how to sustain it
Sure.
going forward.
Well, let's hope that they manage to do that with the results being positive, and because that filters down to everybody. Like you say, good vibes in the camp. If they carry that through into the pitch, filters through to the country, then there's a positive vibe. And let's hope we can manage our expectations as well as a country, because you know how it is. We tend to get carried away sometimes when Bafana win one match and we think they're gonna go on and beat the world. But I'm glad you were there to see it for yourself, and hopefully, they can travel well and come back with a positive result.
Yeah, and it's this opening round of features is tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I
It
mean,
is.
they flew out this evening,
Yeah.
and then they land there around 10 tonight, local time there, and
Only one full session, the doc said, right?
today.
No, I'm saying one full session that
When they get
they'll have that
And then
side.
they have
Yeah.
to fly back, and then they have to play Sudan in Orlando on Sunday.
Yeah, and they will
One
link up with the
session here as
overseas
well.
based players tonight, drive, and that game that they are playing there,
Cape Coast.
it's in Cape Coast,
Yeah.
and it's a long drive. Apparently, it's a 2-hour drive. So immediately after that game, they'll finish there. I think at 9:00. Because the game starts at 7.
Yeah.
And they'll probably be out of the stadium after an hour.
Sure.
So They'll drive back to Accra,
Uh-huh.
sleep in Accra,
Right.
and fly out in the morning. And they come back here. They arrive here around 6 on Friday. They have one training session
Saturday.
on Saturday,
And then the match on Sunday.
then the match on Sunday. Why is KEF cramming all these games? Spare a thought. Spare a thought for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Some of their players were playing yesterday.
Yeah.
They met this morning and they're playing a game on Wednesday against Benin.
Wow.
You know, I mean, the international break finishes on Tuesday.
Sure.
Why not?
You still had time to spread it out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Why-
remember, initially, KEF wanted Bafana to actually.
They wanted Bafana to play on Friday.
Russell,
and Sunday.
Russell had to, Safa had to stand their ground to
Yeah.
actually have.
But I'm asking myself, if this is the situation, to assist the coach, why is Safa not chartering a flight?
Yeah.
There's no money.
That's
Whew, that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
good
you know,
Mm.
when the coach was Baxter Bafana was staying at Monte Casino.
staying Crown Plaza in Rosebank.
Now the coach is Mlefuntseke, they're staying in Crown Plaza.
I think,
Ah,
I think it's preference because
Yeah.
Brashakes also preferred Mill Park.
Do you think Molefe prefers Crown Plaza?
Maybe.
Maybe you know something that we don't, but
No, I'm asking.
I don't know.
No,
It seems
I
like
don't
a
think the
decent
Crown
hotel.
Plaza is a bad
Do you think-
I don't,
hotel.
yeah, it is not, it's not a bad hotel.
Rosebank's a nice area.
Even in the space,
I don't think it's a
Well,
bad
yeah.
hotel.
They've got the police
Even the
station right
space-
across the street.
I don't think the
even in
space is
how
bad.
busy that area is.
I really no.
Nah,
Do-
I
do-
don't-
In fact,
terms
Monte
of what?
Casino is busier.
Of ways.
Jonty,
In case, in fact, Monte is busier.
Jonty.
24-hour casino.
Jonty, who else stays at Monte Casino?
The rugby team, you mean?
Springboks.
Yeah.
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 Now,
I don't know.
I don't know.
No,
Think
no,
about
no,
that
no.
conspiracy.
I don't know.
Jonty, do you think?
I don't know. Cut
No.
the podcast.
Yeah.
Cut the podcast.
No.
No, I get it, but no, I don't think
No,
that.
I
That's a
don't
bit of a
think so.
reach. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think it's a bit of
but
a reach, yeah.
Like
Go
you
and do
say,
your research.
I think he's reaching.
Okay,
I think he's reaching.
folks, thank you so much for joining us.
I
We're done
think Vanilla
for
is
this week.
reaching.
Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to
No.
my colorful cast who joined me in the studio. Thanks to you for watching, and thanks to my team behind the scenes for making it happen. We'll see you in a week's time. Until then, have a good one. Peace.
You are reaching. You are reaching.